Welcome to Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. I'm Tobie Hewitt, and I'm your guide through time and space and all points in between. Mystic Musings will give you insight into who you are, why you are here, how to live an authentic life, and where you fit into the universe around you. Join me on this path of mystical exploration. Welcome to episode 8 of Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. This week we will discuss the concept of spirit guides as we continue our mystic journey. What are spirit guides? What is a spirit guide? How do you contact that person? How do you incorporate their guidance into your life? How are they different from teachers, guardian angels, and masters? Well, a spirit guide is a person just like yourself who, and that's for the most part, is a person who's just like you, except they don't have a physical body. They are on the spirit side of life, and you and that person decided before you reincarnated, that person would be your helper on the other side. Because when we transition to this side, we lose most memory of that other plane. And that's the reason for that is that if we knew this as a fact, for example, if we could remember everything from the other side, first of all, we would wonder why we are here. And second of all, there's the whole idea that while we are here, we need to learn these lessons without that benefit of knowledge. So this person and you set up a plan where you and that person would be able to work together to have the best possible life here, or to overcome challenges, or to gain knowledge that you need in a specific moment. I'm thinking right now of the times when I was in exams in high school and I simply wouldn't remember something, and suddenly, having no knowledge of it whatsoever, seriously, the answer to a question would pop into my head. And I was very sure, and am sure to this day, that it was my spirit guide helping me to get along. Now, I don't consider this cheating, but I do consider it very helpful. But spirit guides help by guiding you sometimes into challenging situations and sometimes away from them. And it all depends on the lessons that you had set up to learn in this lifetime. A spirit guide is simply a spirit just like yourself. And for example, you could have been their spirit guide in a previous life. We'll get to that in a moment. How do you contact that person? The best way to contact that person is to stay awake and aware and to realize that they are always with you and to understand that you are really never alone. Yes, there's privacy. I think we've mentioned this before, but they are always with you. They are your guide, their protector. They're the person that you can turn to when you appear to be alone, but you need help, and they are always there to reach out and help you. Now, spirit guides, as I say, are spirits. And there's also people on the other side who have been teachers. They incarnate, and they have taken the role of spirit guide. They're often not the spirit guide for an entire lifetime, but they pop in to give help in a certain situation, in a certain challenge. And these beings are different than guardian angels and, say, masters. Angels obviously are beings who never incarnate, and they are, I don't know if they're assigned I wouldn't use that word, but they're available to you to help you in very challenging situations. And they bring blessings from the creative spirit. And masters are people who are on a much different plane as far as understanding of the whole situation that we're in. And they don't normally act as spirit guides, although they sometimes come in when you have a question to share information. A lot of times when I am talking to somebody and they ask a question that I know I don't really know the answer to, a master will come through, and I can hear myself talking and I can hear what I'm saying, but I know that it's not organically coming from me. And so they're imparting information to the other person I'm talking to. And so masters are very helpful and very kind and generous. And they're very good because they know all of the information from the very beginning. So those are the classes of beings on the other side. We'll get more into them as we go on with the episodes. Why do they choose to serve in this way? Well, it's just another aspect of being. They do it both to teach us and to help us learn. And it's much easier to work with somebody that we know. And you may not recognize the person, you may not be aware of their existence in your life, but they are somebody who, in most cases, is someone you've known from countless incarnations. You've known them on both sides. You've known them, and they are there to help you. And they choose to do this because it's part of their mission and part of their calling and part of their growth and learning experience. And we need them. I think the most important reason we need them, the two most important, is that they are there to help us, but they also anchor us to the other plane. They don't let us forget. Once we're aware of them, once we know that we're working with someone on the other side, that or on that, I like to say, the higher vibrational plane, they anchor us there. There's some part of our spirit, even though we consciously don't remember it, their presence anchors us on the other side also, at that higher vibration. So we always have the moment when we can have like this idea come to us, to help us on our path here. And we will talk about path work as these episodes unfold. And why it's important to be aware and how we can be aware of our path work. But anyway, back to spirit guides. I met my spirit guide, even though I know he was with me from before I was born, that he appeared to me, and I may have already said this in a previous episode. I was a very young child, about 3 or 4, and I went into my backyard, which was all fenced in, and there was an elderly gentleman sitting in my sandbox, a very dapper individual, leaning on his cane, and very grandfatherly-like, but very wise. And I had been taught not to talk to strangers, so I ran and got my mother, and we went back into the backyard, and the person was gone. And there was no way that this person could have left except by passing us. And so he was there, and then he was not there, which is a nice sort of ability of guides to be able to manifest themselves so you can see them, and then poof, they're gone. But I knew that I had somebody with me. There was a ceremony where we were brought together, I think very shortly after that, where different people from the other side came and just made sure that I knew that I was connected to this person. My calling to work with people, to help people in this knowledge, has been since I was a young child. And so it is kind of important, I think, for them to have made it official. I don't know. Anyway, so as time went on, I knew he was helping. I knew that he was always there. But I never really, I know this sounds crazy, I never really thought about a name. And it didn't come to me until later when I had a reading, when this woman told me there's a man very dapper that's standing next to you. And I knew who it was immediately. And she said, well, sometimes he appears older and sometimes younger. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And she said, had you ever asked his name? He's asking that question. And so I said, I just out loud said, what is his name? And the name came to me as Roger. And so Roger has been with me since before I was incarnated. And he's very amused to hear this detailed description of our lives together right now, and is helping me with this episode. He helps me with all the episodes, so I can't say that he isn't always. He's always with me. And people who I read for are used to him because they'll say, "Well, how is Roger doing today?" And so. We always enjoy that because it's nice for him to be recognized on this plane. In addition, recently, even though I was aware that this woman was around me and sort of on the periphery of my awareness, I suddenly became interested in furthering my energetic healing abilities. And I've had these since, again, I was young. And I have an empathy for people, especially when they're in pain, to be able to relieve that pain. Again, we'll get to that another time. But I had become Reiki level 2, and I had taken a class in crystal healing, and I had read up more on shamanism. And so I became more and more recently, in the last year or so, aware of healing modalities. And one day I was sitting here, and this person became I became aware of this person near me, and I could tell that she was Native American. And she actually said, right, my name's Nakoma. I didn't get it the first 10 times she said it, so we had a lot of different iterations of that. And Nakoma has helped me to understand my my awareness and abilities as a healer. And so as a spirit guide, that is her her area of expertise, as they say. People who have been listening to all these episodes, this is the woman who, while I was in a thrift shop, wanted to make sure that I understood the extent to her reality in my life, and told me to go look for a Kachina doll, which was a figure, which is a Native American figure, and I'm not quite sure. I don't have a lot of information about them, but they're imbued with different characteristics and aspects of healing or being or whatever. And so I looked all over the store looking for this thing, and finally found it on a rock, obviously from Sedona, and it's just a little metal kachina, almost a warrior type figure, on a Sedona rock with a big hole in the middle. And the minute I saw it, I was filled with this, I don't know, the only word I can come up with is this energy of grace, that I had finally realized the full extent of what I am doing as far as healing. So I have Roger, I have Nakoma. There are other people who waft in and out of my life. I have relatives who come and give me, they're not necessarily spirit guides, but come and give me information that I need in order to basically trigger further investigation of my life here. And so that's a spirit guide. So what you do is you ask to meet your spirit guide, if you're not already aware of this person, and you can start interacting with them, and they can help you more fully once you're aware that they exist. So here I would like to introduce this week's exercise. I would like you to again sit in a quiet space and close your eyes and take a few centering breaths. Once you are relaxed and your mind is open, I want you to mentally ask that your spirit guide join you in this space. Once you become aware of a presence, and that can be as subtle as a slight shift in awareness, welcome them. And if you do not already know this person, ask them their name. Ask how you know them, who they are in relation to you and your lifetimes. Do you know them from other lifetimes on this plane? Ask if there is any information they would like to share about what is next on your path. As the visit winds up, please thank them for all they do for and with you, and ask that they stay close for that day so you can get to know them better. Ask if they could join you in the dream time that night. When you are ready, open your eyes, take out your notebook, and write down everything you remember from the visit. Please use the notebook to write questions to your guide and then write down the next impression you receive. This is a good way of keeping a record of your conversations and their guidance. Now, let me just say at this point that if you have questions about this topic or any topic, you can leave me a comment at tobiehewitt.com. I believe you can leave it at iTunes. I'm not aware of all the technology behind what I do at this point, but you can email me at thewitt3@gmail.com. But you can look at tobiehewitt.com and find information on how to contact me if you have further questions about spirit guides or any topic. Next week, please join me for episode 9, when we will look at the concept of cleansing your living space as we continue our mystic journey. Thanks for listening to this episode of Mystic Musings. Please join me every week to continue our exploration of all things mystical that can help you have a more practical and magical life. Please visit my website, tobiehewitt.com, for more information and to read my blog postings. And join me also at pathwaystomindfulness.org to learn how you can schedule a presentation. I'm available for mindfulness training, demonstrations of psychic abilities, and individual readings. I also have a number of books on mystical topics on Amazon.com. I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions. Please contact me through tobiehewitt.com.